Hey, everybody. I know it's been a while, and I'll explain that later. Share this out. This is important. I've got some video clips for you. You've got to get these out to people. So share, 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 share. Thumbs up so that they don't stop the algorithm on this. Um, this I can't warn you guys enough. I was stopping doing videos. I can't warn you enough. Share, share, share. Here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Biden administration has taken some steps over the last 48 hours through executive actions that can only really be described effectively as absolute warfare on farmers and on the food production systems of the United States. When viewed in concert with the shortage of grains around the world, a looming shortage of fertilizers, the fact that we have been selling out all of our food stocks to other countries and we're being cut off from importing food from anywhere else, the US is in a real world of hurt right now, and we need to talk about that. I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer broadcast. Now, the Biden administration opened by delivering on their promise to combat global warming and climate change by shutting down our farms. Here, among the components of his climate action executive bill order is directives to conserve 30% of the U.S. land and water supply over the course of the next 10 years. Now, that's described in today's verbiage, but during the campaign, he went so far as to say, we will literally pay farmers to stop growing food and just put the land in conservation. This is exactly what we've seen recommended by the UN in order to protect biodiversity. We heard the same numbers come out of the Pope, and we saw the UK enact exactly that same recommendation. Boris Johnson did this in September, restoring to nature 30% of Britain. So you can already tell Biden has just green-lighted the agenda of the technocrats, and we're just seeing this implemented, rolled out in the US now, as it has been around the world. So we kind of know what to expect across the board, but he's delivering, and he's doing it in 48 hours flat now. Another thing that happened just today was that Biden suspended the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program. How is that? What is that? Well, American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall describes that as a lifeline for farmers and ranchers across the country. So despite that being the lifeline that is keeping farmers and ranchers afloat during this pandemic and the crisis, doesn't matter. Biden administration, one of their first actions here out of the gate is to cut off that lifeline. And that is a pretty clear indicator of what their priority is. It's to starve out the farmers and ultimately to starve us out. Another part of this initial Biden administration rollout was to insist that the USDA become part of the plan of implementing a net zero emissions policy. Now, I've already explained what that means. It, of course, means decarbonizing the supply chain. We heard from the World Economic Forum and some participants, including Walmart and other big multinational companies, that they're using their leverage as huge multinational companies to decarbonize their supply chains. In other words, make sure that anyone that gives them goods on their shelves has zero carbon emissions. This is pretty much a death knell for any animal products because the way they do those calculations is insane, and it incorporates any of the emissions that are done by the plants that the animals eat. So already animal products, animal-based foods are at a huge disadvantage and basically are going to be eliminated. But the USDA has been tasked with putting together some recommendations for how all of agriculture should be made into a net zero. Of course, this speaks to the insect-based protein and the lab-grown meat. And now that we have Tom Vilsack back as the head of the USDA, who during his tenure there under Obama was the man who brought us cloned farm animals and factory farming, authorized lab-grown meat, and pushed through tons of GMOs from Monsanto. They call him Mr. Monsanto. Indeed, he worked for Monsanto before he became the USDA chief originally. You can see Roundup Ready beets, Roundup Ready alfalfa, just goes down the line of all of these Monsanto products that he, as chief of the USDA under Obama, greenlit. And that's not all. Cloned animals is insane. This is why literally all the chickens within those poultry factory farms are the same chicken. You're eating the same chicken in all those chicken nuggets at McDonald's. It's just a complete Frankenstein, disgusting food system that they have created at this point. And that's another reason we should be growing our own food. And of course, lab-grown meat. But what else would we expect from an administration that was very open about their intentions to change the dietary requirements, the suggested nutritional recommendations, and reduce the consumption of red meat?
But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
You know, the food.
And it's not just the animals, of course. There are new limitations about what seeds can be brought across which parts of the UK and into the EU. Here's an article from Northern Ireland. Gardeners losing hundreds of seed varieties as major company Sutton's withdraws fruit and vegetable seeds due to the Irish Sea border. And we read from one owner of a nursery down here. The garden centers, longest established garden centers in North Ireland, are, quote, on the brink of collapse because of these new border rules. It's just insanity. And I really don't have many other words to describe what is, as I said, an engineered, comprehensive attack on the food supply of the world. This is going on now, and it's happening rapidly. And once you start seeing mainstream media warning about soybean shortages and livestock running out, it's past time to take notice. I've been sounding the alarm on this as best I can. I've used different ways of languaging it, talked about how it was the Chinese or the technocrats or the patriots need to be paying attention. But at this point, again, this is a nonpartisan issue. We all eat every day, and we all have to understand that right now this is going on, and we have to start growing our own food. It's past time. We're now reacting instead of being proactive. So if you're new to this information, welcome. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news for you. But this is part of the agenda to take total control over the food supply of the world. It's called the Great Food Transformation, and it's part of the World Economic Forum's agenda, the Great Reset. And this is just where we are now. So the only rational way to respond to this comprehensive attack on our food supply is by growing your own food. And again, please do check out my talk yesterday, which is all about how to respond to this threat. The greater food transformation means we all start growing food, we all start raising animals, and then up from there, we start this virtuous cycle of an emergent food system that organically arises from people acting that way, being self-sufficient and working together. So I'll put a link to this talk below. And thank you for watching this. Please do share this video with other people who eat. Everyone needs to know what's going on right now. And I appreciate you helping me get the word out. This report and all my reports and this talk from yesterday's conference are on iceagefarmer.com. That's a website on a privately hosted server. It cannot be censored. I really appreciate your helping me get the word out. That's more important than anything else right now. If you value this broadcast and the information I'm bringing, you can help me keep it running, and I do appreciate that as well. There's a few ways of doing that listed at iceagefarmer.com/support. But again, start growing food, much more important. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Send me a note. Let me know what you're seeing in your neck of the woods and what you think. That email address is iceagefarmer@protonmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are well, and let's go grow abundant amounts of nutritive food, raise some awesome animals in regenerative, holistic ways, and try and have fun doing it, because things are getting crazy out there. So I hope you're well.
That's just bits and pieces. Okay. Let me give you some more, a little more intense. It comes out a little bit slower, but I mean, what they're doing is unbelievable. And there's even more shocking news that's come out today, concerning food tracking. Seriously, food trapping. They're GPS tracking. It just, oh my God. Let me get you this next video.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician, and I've decided to go live earlier than my normal time today because this is critical information that we need to get out to parents as quickly as possible. This is something that affects childhood development, namely brain development, which you may or may not know that during the first 1,000 days of a baby's development is when the majority of brain development happens. And so during the first 1,000 days, that's a time where you definitely do not want this baby to be ingesting anything that would slow down brain development, that would lower IQ, or that would in any way keep this baby from developing the smartest, quickest thinking mind possible. And so I wanted to go live with you, and you may see at the bottom of the screen the ticker saying share this with every parent you know, because these are major baby food manufacturers that I'm going to be talking about. These are not just one small little company. Also, there is some egregious behavior by these companies that you need to be aware of. And this information, I think, is block-busting information. I think any parent would want to know this information to help protect their baby or their toddler from the toxins in these baby foods. So an oversight subcommittee met, and they invited 7 of the top baby food manufacturers. They wanted to discuss how much heavy metals were in their baby foods. And so they invited, I've got my notes right here, they invited Hahn, who makes Earth's Best Organics. They invited Gerber. They invited Beech-Nut. They invited Nurture, who makes Healthy Family Organics. And they invited Walmart, who has their own store brand of baby food called Parents' Choice. They invited Sprouts Foods, and they invited the Campbell Soup Company, whose baby food goes under the title of Plum Organics. They invited these 7 corporations, multi-million-dollar corporations, and said, hey, we want to talk to you about what's in your baby food. 4 of these companies voluntarily shared some information. 3 of these companies refused to show up, and I want to talk about that a little later and what that probably means, just the human nature behind that and what you would do if you were invited to appear before Congress and you had something to hide. How would you behave? So the 4 companies that did show up, Earth's Best Organic, Gerber, Beech-Nut, and Happy Family Organics. And so if you've got any baby food in the pantry, go look and see. So these guys did voluntarily share. Now, this was a voluntary thing. These companies there was not a subpoena issued. None of these companies were under oath. This was just voluntary sharing of internal documents. So the 3 companies that didn't show up, who just said, yeah, we're not coming, is Walmart, Sprout Foods, and Plum Organics. They said, yeah, we're not going to be there. We don't want to share with you. Because, I mean, why would you not want to share if you were proud of the ingredients of your baby food? Why would you not want to share that with Congress and therefore share it with the entire world? If I had a great baby food product that I was proud of every ingredient, I would show up with bells on and say, look at all these slides I've made for you. Let me show you what's in my baby food. But Walmart and Sprouts and Campbell Soup, who make Plum Organics, they decided not to show up for whatever reason. Maybe they were busy. So let's talk about what was found. Let me scroll through this. So, and I absolutely agree with this statement. Baby food manufacturers hold a special position of trust. Consumers mistakenly believe that these companies would not sell unsafe products, but you're going to find out that they absolutely do. So the subcommittee's investigation found, and this is just from the voluntary information, okay? Imagine if a young and hungry attorney decided to get a bunch of parents whose children suffer from autism, ADD, ODD, Asperger's, and other mental development issues, got together a class action lawsuit and actually subpoenaed the internal documents from all 7 of these companies. You don't just bring what you want to voluntarily show us, you have to bring everything. Imagine what kind of information could be dug up in these corporations. So top baby foods are tainted with dangerous levels of arsenic, lead, cadmium, and mercury. And all parents are afraid of lead paint. They want to make sure that if you buy a new house, there has to be a lead paint study to make sure that if it was built before a certain year that there's no lead paint, because we know very well that lead, if babies eat the paint chips, it can lower their IQ and stunt their brain development. We know this, but the 4 top ones that showed up, they all had lead in their baby food. Now here's something that's very important to understand. This industry, they self-regulate. Okay, there evidently aren't any FDA guidelines on how much lead and arsenic and mercury and cadmium can be in baby food. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what this sounds like to me. The manufacturers routinely ignore internal standards. So this is just from the 4 companies that volunteered internal documents. There were multiple instances where the ingredients that they used to make the final baby food product contained far too much lead or cadmium or mercury. And they went ahead and said, yeah, it's okay. Go ahead and put it in the product. We're going to sell it anyway. Okay. And these are brands that every parent and grandparent knows and trusts, even though they probably shouldn't. But the manufacturers routinely ignore the internal standards and continue to sell the products knowing that the heavy metal levels in their product is far too high. And some of the manufacturers do test internally. Not that there's a federal government mandate, but they do it on their own. But then they go ahead and sell the product, even if it has high levels in it.
There you go. Shocked yet? Scared yet? Thinking about this yet? Yeah, it's that bad. It's that bad. I've been saying it for years. No one's listening. Share this information out. Give me the thumbs up so that this gets out in the algorithm. This information's got to go. Okay. They want to start now registering every cow. There's an attack on the food source. You need this book. You need my book. I don't care. Black thumb, never gardened before, living in an apartment. You can't trust the food anymore. Go look up and research Taco Bell. Look back in the 90s. What you're going to find out is going to scare the living daylights out of you. There's a reason people get sick after eating Taco Bell, because it's not food. Go look it up, please. Go look it up. But get your hands on my book. You just don't understand. I keep telling the preppers and talking and trying to help people and doing what I can. We didn't sell enough books for me to write a second book. That's YouTube. Okay, not a problem. But you're going to need to know this stuff. You're going to need to know how to garden. You're going to need to know the simplest, fastest ways to get the best organic results. Because what's coming from Amazon and Bill Gates and what have you isn't edible foods for the human body. Now, just there's so many theories, so many ideas, so many radical ideas. I don't even want to get into it. You need this book. You need the Green Wizard's Guide. I can't say it enough. Share this channel out with your friends. Get this information out. I don't care if I don't get any more subscribers. Doesn't matter. This information needs to be flying off the shelves. If the grid goes down, you are not going to have access to this information. It's that simple. Get your hands on this book, The Green Wizard's Guide. It's on Amazon. Get it out to your friends. Get this information flowing. There's so much you can do right now, dead of winter. to prep and get ready. They're doing this to the entire planet. It's not just America. They're doing it to the entire planet and getting away with even more in other countries where there's dictatorships. Got it? Awesome. I don't know if I'll see you again. Good luck, everybody.